What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be showing off my team for the week 2 of the C2GS Draft League. The reason why this is the week 2 instead of week 1 is because I actually got a bye on the first week, so yay! So on the left side of the screen is going to be the 11 Pokemon that I drafted, and on the right side is going to be the 11 that my opponent this week is Turbo drafted. So yeah, let's get right into the team. You'll notice that I'm starting off with my Mega Slowbro, with the Regenerator ability, of course. We have Scald. Scald is just a really good move to have on a Mega Slowbro, and if you look at his team, it hits his entire team neutrally or better, with the exception of his Greninja, which, frankly, I'm pretty scared of. But well, hopefully we have good enough contingencies about it. So, in case I have Signal Beam, in case I want to catch him on the switch in. So if he decides to switch in Greninja against my Slowbro, I can catch it with Signal Beam. That's going to do a fair amount of damage to it. And then once the main threats to Slowbro are out of the picture, so you know your Zapdoses, your Greninjas, stuff like that, we can Mega Evolve and try to go for a Calm Mind Sweep, essentially. So we have, let's see, we have enough special attack EVs on this so that our Signal Beam is able to two-shot Greninja, our Scalds are going to two-shot Moltres most of the time, and we one-shot Lycanroc, and if we're Mega Evolved, we could barely one-shot the Heatmore. We have special defense EVs enough to be able to tank a Thunderbolt from Thundurus, just in case. It shouldn't come down to that, though, but it's good to have. And then we put the rest into defense with a bold nature so that we always live 2 crunches from a Life Orb Lycanroc, even before Mega Evolving. This is also going to be like a good defensive switch into Zapdos. Hopefully it doesn't go for spam Brave Bird a lot. This takes most of its other moves really well, except for maybe U-turn, but Brave Bird is going to be doing a lot. But it's really hard to plan around that, so we're going to do what we can. Next, we have Falcon, our Noivern, who's going to be a boot set with Infiltrator in case things want to set up substitutes. Draco Meteor is going to be like our main damaging move option. And Flamethrower is a good coverage move. It hits Scizor. It kind of hits Aggron, not too well once it Mega Evolves. And then Toxic and Taunt are here, mostly for the Corsola. So I've decided the best way to handle his Galarian Corsola is going to be to Toxic it and then Taunt it so that it can't, you know, be crazy and set up its hazards and Will-O-Wisps and Strength Saps and whatnot. We've given this thing a lot of speed EVs, actually, with a timid nature so that we always outspeed a regular Greninja, non-scarfed, and then we just put the rest of it in special attack, and then we have the leftovers in HP. And now we have Iron Man, the Melmetal. This is an Acid Armor sweep set, so the idea is we have double Iron Bash, which is like our main stab move, of course, and then if we set up a bunch of Acid Armors, we have Body Press on this thing, which is going to be doing huge amounts of damage. Like the Slowbro, if we get the threats to Melmetal out of the picture, we're pretty much free to sweep with Acid Armor and Body Press. And obviously, since we're a Steel type, we can't be Toxic, so that's a really good bonus, too. Thunder Punch is good for Zapdos, not Zapdos, Zapdos and Moltres. Sorry. We also, interesting EV investment here. So we have 136 speed EVs, which is actually just enough to outspeed an uninvested base 50 Pokemon. Now, he has a lot of base 50s on his team. To be precise, he has Aggron, Piloswine, and Sableye. So, we also have enough attack EVs with an adamant nature so that we almost always one-shot Piloswine with double Iron Bash. And by that, I mean he has to be fully defensive investment, and I have to min-roll both hits of double Iron Bash. So it's very likely not going to happen. In fact, I'm expecting it to be specially defensive to handle things like Charizard and Noivern very well. So actually, as a matter of fact, our Noivern is kind of bait for Piloswine. So if we can switch it in on an expected Earthquake, or Stealth Rock for that matter, we can bait an Ice move or a Toxic, then we could pivot into Melmetal, and then surprise outspeed in one shot with double Iron Bash is the main plan for that. And then, of course, we have our Acid Armor sweeping. Next, we have Captain America, our Donphan. This is basically a hard counter to Scizor is what I'm going for here. We have almost full defensive investment with a Rocky Helmet, so every time he goes for, say, U-turn or dual Wing Beat, he's going to be taking a lot of recoil chip damage in addition to the attacks we're going to be firing off on it. So, we have Earthquake and Stone Edge for standard coverage. Fire Fang is going to be like our main option against Scizor if we somehow expect it to stay in. And then, of course, Stealth Rock because hazards are broken. Um, so Donphan is one of my base 50 speed Pokemon, and I decided to put a little bit of speed investment into it because I want to be able to outspeed his base 50s, right? If I'm able to outspeed Aggron and get a good Earthquake on it, that's really good for me. And so I decided that 12 was a good number of speed EVs to give it. I could probably give it a little bit less. 12 is probably a little overkill, but I really wanted to make sure that I outspeeded his base 50s. And then, of course, the rest is in defense and attack. Next, we have Thor, our Zeraora, this is a pretty standard set, to be honest. We have Plasma Fist, Close Combat, Knockoff, and Volt Switch. Knockoff is actually really good for knocking off Corsola's Eviolite, or Piloswine's Eviolite, but maybe if it switches in or something. You'll notice that we're choice scarfed, actually, and the reason for that is this is meant to be like a failsafe. If his Greninja starts getting out of hand, maybe his Zapdos is getting out of hand, we have enough speed to always outspeed a choice scarfed Ash Greninja. So if his Greninja starts going really ham on my team, maybe he's gone Battle Bond and he's going crazy, we can always send this in after a sack. We're guaranteed to outspeed because of the choice scarf, and then we can get a one-shot off. Easy peasy. Speaking of Greninja, our main switch into that is going to be our last team member, Scarlet Witch the Aromatisse. So this thing takes pretty much everything except for a Specs Battle Bond boosted Hydro Pump really well. So this is going to be like a really solid switch into the Greninja, obviously, with our almost full special defense investment and our Assault Vest. We've given it enough special attack EVs so that Moonblast is always a KO. Thunderbolt is a good coverage move for the Zapdos and the Moltres. Actually, I'm going to be Moonblasting the Zapdos probably, but this is still a good coverage for the Moltres. Hidden Power Fire is mainly used to catch Scizor if it decides to switch in. And then Draining Kiss is for a little bit of sustain. Draining Kiss does over half to Greninja, actually. So even if I've chipped it a little bit, I can actually go for the Draining Kiss instead, and if it decides to switch out, then I'm still getting a little bit of recovery back, and that could be potentially useful. So yeah, max special defense, a little bit of HP to make sure that Moonblast always KOs. So yeah, that's my squad. Tomorrow I'm going to be uploading the actual battle. Hopefully it goes well. And yeah, that's about it. See you guys.